Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be discussing one of the several possibilities for Ninjago 2023 that involves a full-on reboot or a restart to the entire Ninjago story. Before we begin though, I must clarify that no, this is not happening for certain. This is just one of several possibilities for Ninjago in the 2023 year. At this point in time, Ninjago Crystalized Part 2 has not yet ended, so we have no idea how that season will actually conclude things. But in terms of today's video, let's just discuss the theoretical possibility that Ninjago Crystalized will indeed be the end of this current story, and starting in 2023, there will be a massive reboot. Starting over from square one, beginning with the original 4 ninja, and retelling their story from scratch. I've seen some people suggest this in my comment section, and in today's video, like I said, I just want to give my quick thoughts on how I feel about this possibility, and the short version of how I feel is that I don't feel like it would work at all. But I can honestly see where people are coming from when they suggest this. LEGO could easily look at Ninjago as being too complicated and overly complex. With multiple seasons expanding the world and creating new interesting corners of this universe, eventually it's going to be hard to get into this. LEGO ran into a similar problem with their Bionicle theme way back in the day. It just got too complicated for its own good, and it eventually was scrapped and rebooted a few years after it was originally ended. Maybe LEGO views Ninjago the same way. Maybe it's just become too complicated for its own good, and thus rebooting it, starting over from scratch, wouldn't be such a bad idea. Like I said, I do not agree with the statement that Ninjago should be rebooted from square one, but I could see how Ninjago could suffer a fate similar to Bionicle. If Ninjago were to be rebooted, it could bring the series back to basics, starting off from scratch, and making the series more simplistic, making it easier for new fans to join in, while still retaining the attention of the old ones. Speaking of audience retention though, I'm not really sure how older fans would react to a complete Ninjago reboot, especially if the Ninjago reboot is only happening to make it appealing to younger fans. Imagine Ninjago completely resets, only this time it's more simplistic, it's dumbed down to appeal to kids. I'm not really sure how older members of the Ninjago community would react to that. Even though Ninjago is a kids show by definition, don't get me wrong there, Ninjago has done a fantastic job at opening its doors for everybody. There's no rule that says you need to be under a specific age to be a Ninjago fan. Even people like myself who have grown up with the series have still stuck around even to this day. And for good reason. Ninjago does a great job at appealing to all of its fans. But rebooting Ninjago from square one but dumbing it down, that would certainly divide the audience and even push older members of the Ninjago fandom away. Also, in terms of how this idea doesn't really make much sense, I'm not a huge fan of the idea that Ninjago should start over from square one. Think about that for a second. What if Ninjago 2023 begins with the ninja trying to find the golden weapons again while still battling Garmadon and the skeleton army? We've already had lines like Ninjago Legacy to go back and appreciate what came before. We don't need a complete retelling of what happened. And if a Ninjago reboot would theoretically just adapt the pilots again for a start, at what point would this new Ninjago series become overly complicated? On the other hand, if a Ninjago reboot were to happen but the series departs and goes a different direction, say for instance if skeletons are not the bad guys during this new set of pilots, if it's a different group of villains that we haven't seen before, then why even bother rebooting? Why not just apply the new stuff to the current saga and continue after Crystalized with these new ideas? If anything, the Ninjago series will experience a soft reboot at the beginning of 2023. Ninjago Crystalized could still be the end of the saga of this current group of ninja, but in 2023 they could continue as older sensei or master type characters leading a new team of ninja into the future. That way you keep the older continuity, you keep the older characters, and you keep the older fans. It seems like in LEGO's best interest to keep the Ninjago fanbase happy and alive for as long as possible, and I feel like completely starting over from square one is not the way to do that. I've seen people talk about this in my comment section, and honestly, I don't really agree. As I said, there's a lot of problems with that idea, but a soft reboot, that could very well work. And maybe I'll go over that in the future, discussing what Ninjago should do for a soft reboot, you know, following a new team of ninja but keeping the same continuity. If you guys are interested, leave a comment down below. Otherwise, that'll pretty much wrap it up for my thoughts here today regarding a possible Ninjago reboot from square one. I don't think it works, but leave all your thoughts down below in the comments. Maybe you disagree, and if you do, that's great. Leave a comment down below explaining why. Until then, that'll wrap it up for my thoughts here today. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Again, leave all your thoughts down below in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe, do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys again in the next upload. Peace.